Hello, this is Beta Ray Ben for Pixel Spank, and today I've got something really cool. It's the Super Nintendo Entertainment System Nintendo Classic Mini. I didn't know that was the full title until I just looked at the box. If you haven't seen the box, because, you know, if you've ever been to a shop, you probably won't have seen one in it. They're really cool. They look quite a bit like the original Super Nintendo box, which I have got, but I couldn't be bothered to go and get. But for reference, I can tell you it's about that big, with a similar styling to this. A lot of this to it. This is the obviously the original for scale. I don't know yet, but I'm thinking it's going to be quite small. It's going to live up to the mini bit. Of course, I haven't got a knife prepared, but I don't actually need one apparently. Yeah, I haven't actually looked in this yet. This could all be an elaborate joke because I didn't buy this from a shop. A friend of mine secured himself multiple pre-orders, like 4 or 5, because you know you're never sure if one's gonna work, and he did it, and then when they all came through, it's like, oh shit. So he called me up and said, "Ben, do you want one?" I was like, "Yeah, obviously." As it happens, wasn't too interested in the NES Classic. Never really had an affection for that. Alright, it's got a drawer. I like a drawer. That's it. Done. Might come back to the box later. Got an operations manual. This will be nothing. This will literally be nothing. Oh, hello. Cheeky. Some My Nintendo Awards. 300 platinum points. Those kind of suck, because they run out after, I think it's after 6 months after you put them on there, and there's currently fuck all to buy. Alright, manual is 3 pages long, 45 pages in total, because as a Europe this has to be printed in 10 or 12 different languages, and there's nothing really. Eye strain, yeah, repetitive motion injuries, seizures, all the fun stuff. Oh, actually, no, there is 1 page of how to plug it in. It's fine. Okay, various. Oh no, that's the controller. That comes with 2 controllers. Honestly, didn't really know that. It's 2 pictured on the box, but yeah, that can mean anything. Meaning this is the dinky little device itself. Oh, look at that. Isn't that adorable? It's a USB cable. Presumably plug. That's how you. Wait. It's for power, isn't it? That's how you power it. Yeah, USB. And an HDMI cable. Nintendo stopped giving you plugs with their stuff, but they still insist on giving you an HDMI cable, which is admirable. You never have too many of them. It's tiny. Look at it. I never realised how small it would be. I just figured it would be a similar size to this. All right, let's get that out. I learned the other day that you don't need to press this button at all. You can just pull these out. And it's clear by looking at the design. Nothing holds them in. But it feels wrong not to use the button because the button's nice. Is this button nice? It's not real, obviously. The reset button, the power switch, they're both real. That noise is important. I'll bring it close to the mic so you can hear it. That noise is like, you hear that noise and you're just immediately triggered of, oh, I'm going to play some great games. It's not the same noise. That's big for me. That noise, coupled with the noise that the eject button makes when there's something in there, I've had enough of this game, I want to go back to Zelda button, this noise. That noise coupled with just the little noise the cartridge makes, the little fall down noise, that's a huge noise. That's a shame. These front ports are just drawn on, and I'm pretty sure they're going to lift up now, and in fact, oh, that's horrible. You take them off to reveal the control ports. That's nasty. I mean, look at the front of this bad boy. They're big. You just jam them straight in. It's tricky. they've kept the aesthetic, but it means in actual use it looks awful. Why doesn't it just pop off or kind of fold up somehow? Right, let's get a controller out, because that's, in many ways, is actually the most important part. Okay. Ooh, cheeky. Apparently a big thing with the NES was that the controller wires were about 1 inch long. I don't know if that's the case with this one or not. For whatever reason, they retain the same weird controller fittings they used for the Wii nunchuck. I think that's where it originated. Okay, right. It's not a hugely long wire. It's significantly shorter than the original, and a little bit thinner. Not that doesn't really matter. Controller itself, it's the exact same size. I thought the controller would be mini for some reason. No real reason to think that. I just assumed. This one, I have 2 Super Nintendo controllers. This one's cracked around the A button, just a little bit. It's still very solid, but it's getting there. Okay, let's feel. Face buttons, they're good. Start and select. Weirdly, start and select buttons on the original are a kind of rubber, and they're the same. Okay, that's good. Right, we're 2 for 2. Shoulder buttons feel very similar. If anything, the new ones are actually better, mainly because I suspect these are just old and a bit worn down. The most important thing on this is the control pad, because you can't get away from it. You have to use it all the time. It feels reasonable, I would say. It seems... I can see this working. It seems like it'll be a fine controller. Of course, if you've never used it before, it's quite an odd controller. There are no fins to grab onto. There's not that many buttons. The shoulder buttons, barely ever used. So that's why quite a lot of people will control it by like using their fingers on here, or some other weird style, because you don't really need these much. They didn't tend to come up that often, at least in the games I had. They didn't. So let's just jam this in here, just to get a feel for how it looks. One's on the left. I got that right at least. I mean, it doesn't look too bad. Okay, should it have had something sat in there or not? That's the question I'm asking myself. Like, it would be dumb just to have a fake cartridge sat in there. Yes. Would it look better? Possibly. It's difficult. I don't know. I think part of it comes down to this is the European design, and possibly Japanese as well. The American design is different. I think it's front loaded. I don't know exactly. I don't really care, to be honest. This is the Super Nintendo I have. This is how it looks in my mind. Yeah, and just at the back you just got the DC and the HDMI. It's fine. Let's look at the underside. The underside's important on these things. Take note the colour of this bad boy. It did originally start this colour. For whatever reason, the plastic they used, I thought it was sunlight, but apparently just due to age, it will always turn this sort of colour. This nice kind of off yellow colour. Actually, I haven't looked at the bottom in years. Bottom actually looks kind of gold, and it's good. Similar. For whatever reason, mine just has a blank plate here. There may have been a sticker there at one time, which is long since gone. Another one there. And then an export, external port. You ever notice this, how nearly all consoles up to, I reckon at least PS2, would just have random little additional ports like this, and you never really use them. And if you go back and like look in the great beyond, the histories of the consoles, you'll find out that one like bit of software or hardware or whatever ever used the external port, and it was like some nonsense. It'd be a game no one cared about. Weirdly, that plastic has not aged the same as the rest. I'm guessing that's the original colour. It's hard to remember original colours. I'm hoping with age this goes this colour, but that's not going to be the case because it's a slightly different plastic. This one is smoothed, possibly by time itself, but it's got a smooth feel to it. This one has a slight rough feel to it, very slight. Like if you had sandpaper, but the real high grade sandpaper you're supposed to use for like real careful finishes, but you accidentally used it for redecorating a wall, so it's properly smoothed down. It's barely got any grit left to it. That's what this feels like. Quite like holding it. It's actually very nice to hold, and it's tiny. Look at it. Look how small it is. Right. There's no manuals for the game in the box. That's odd. Right. So it's 12 plus. 12 in fact. AC adapter is not included. That's fine. It's just USB. That's 20 plus 1 games pre-installed. 20 plus 1. 21. Attention, HDMI, just warnings. There's a lot of warnings on this. Like, a lot. This set includes, the console. Wait, what? This Nintendo Classic Mini Super Nintendo Entertainment System console. That's different to on the box already. ×1. Nintendo Classic Mini Super Nintendo Entertainment System controllers. It does say 2 controllers. I thought I'd just broken the system and got on an extra one. I feel like if I can somehow make these work on my PC somehow, and that's the main strength of these. I'll figure that out at some point, I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, there's a guy holding it there, but I still couldn't fully believe the size of it because I haven't watched anyone else look at any of these bad boys yet. It's the first I've already looked at them. The back of the box is actually my favourite bit so far because it's got it's reminiscent of back in the old days of you go into a game shop and you want to buy a game, you look at the front, you pick it up, and you look at the back, and there'll be 3 screenshots roughly. And they will decide on whether or not you should buy that game. The writing was meaningless. The screenshots were where it was at. 20 plus 1 classic games pre-installed. Then it's just the artwork for all the games. So the big 4 they've put on here: Super Mario World, Link to the Past, Super Mario Kart, and Street Fighter 2 Turbo. That's fair enough. And then the little ones. I don't actually know the full list off the top of my head. The 4 I've just listed out, I don't care about Super Mario World, Zelda, or Super Mario Kart. Purely because I've already got them. Like, I've literally got them on Super Nintendo. Here's one of them. The others are just there. I could go and get them. I'm not going to because they're a pain in the arse to stack up because they don't sit on top of each other. If you do them like that, they fall over. It's a pain. On top of that, there's F-Zero. I've got that. I don't care. Donkey Kong Country. It's a great game, but I have got it, so I don't care. Earthbound. That's an intriguing one. I like that. Secret of Mana. Another intriguing one. Weirdly, that's a free-player game. 3 players. Free-player console, mind. I don't know how you do it with 3 players, because this has 2 ports, but it was 3 players. I know that. That's something I've got in my head. Super Castlevania 4, which I think was Castlevania before I liked Castlevania. Back when it was like an arcade game where you started and you finish or you die, whereas now it's Metroidvania. Well, yeah, I mean, it's Metroidvania, isn't it? That's what they call it. Super Ghouls and Ghosts. Don't really care about that one, to be honest. I'm thinking that similar to Castlevania. That's one of those games where it's like they were padding the runtime. Earthbound, I've already mentioned that. Contra 3, The Alien Wars, brackets Super Pro Protector Alien Rebels. It was called Super Pro Protector in Europe for complicated reasons, and I think Contra 3 everywhere else. Super Punch-Out, that's one I'm interested in. It's one of those great games, but I never played it originally. Super Metroid. I have a weird thing with Metroid. In my head, I really like 2D Metroid games, right? And I was talking to someone about the new one on 3DS, Metroid 2 Samus Returns. I want to say that's what it's called. I was like, yeah, I really like 2D Metroid games. And then I suddenly thought about it. It's like, well, I played Zero Mission and I really like that. And I played about half of Metroid Fusion and I quite like that, but I thought some of it was a bit annoying. And then I was like, oh, so I actually just like Zero Mission is all I've really played. I didn't own Super Metroid on this because you couldn't get that. That was a rare one to get. So I'm actually quite looking forward to that. I do own it on Wii U, but for the life of me, I can't bring myself to play a Wii U. Star Fox 1, which is called Starwing in Europe. I'm thinking they didn't want to reprint the back of this box, but then we've got certain... I think we have the same games as America, maybe, and Japan has different games. I think that's it. So Star Fox 1, no one cares about that, because Star Fox 2 is on here. Like, if you care about Star Fox, you don't care about Star Fox 1, Star Fox 2 is on here. We'll get to that later. Final Fantasy 3, which might well be Final Fantasy 1, I can't remember. We got it as Final Fantasy 3. I think I played a DS remake of that, so God only knows. But it's, it's Final Fantasy. Super Mario RPG, Legend of the Seven Stars. That is a big one for me, because I really like the Super Mario RPG spin-off ones, the Paper Marios and Super Marios. Obviously, I only like them in a pre-Thousand Year Door, whatever the last Mario and Luigi I played was, because apparently all the ones after that, they thought, yeah, we don't really want them to be RPGs anymore, and everyone has collectively said, what the hell are you on about? Keep making them good, and they've said no. Mega Man X, don't care about Mega Man, so I don't care about that. Kirby Superstar, brackets Kirby's Fun Pack. Kirby's another one where in my head I really like Kirby games, but I think in total I've played one, and that's Kirby and the Amazing Mirror on GBA, and I liked it. I just never really buy them, so I'm quite looking forward to that. On a similar note, Kirby's Dream Course, which sounds like a racing game. I don't know if it is, but it sounds like one. There was another Kirby racing game. It was made by the guy that made Smash Bros later on, and it was a really weird one. Apparently you didn't really have to play it. Either way. Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island, or just Yoshi's Island, as anyone calls it. That's a great game. This might be the only place where you can actually play it and it looks like it should, because the GBA remake had a lot of the graphics turned down, essentially. So that might not be great. Street Fighter 2, it's Street Fighter 2. People like Street Fighter 2. I'm not a big Street Fighter fan. I think it's kind of boring, but that's just me. Other people like it, that's fine. And Star Fox 2, Star Fox 2 is such a weird one, isn't it? They extra game, never before released. Extra game Star Fox 2 can be unlocked by completing the first stage of Star Fox 1. I don't know why they decided to throw that away on there, but that's weird that you don't unlock it, you just have it. So it's the Super... What's it called? Super Nintendo Entertainment System Nintendo Classic Mini. But I think it's actually called Nintendo Classic Mini Super Nintendo Entertainment System, so I don't know. Everyone calls it the SNES Mini. I call it the SNES Mini because that's what I call it. I'm weird like that. It's pretty nice. I'm not gonna show any gameplay footage from it because it's just the games. What I will be doing is over the next few months playing all of these for the channel anyway. So you'll see a lot more Super Nintendo games for a while. Obviously not the big ones I've already played. Zelda, for example. I feel like I've done that enough. Look how tiny it is. It can almost be eaten by the big one. I feel like this is damaging a lot of equipment here, but still, perfect. That's if you Voltron that together in some sort of way, and then the N64 one does something. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that. Anyway, I've just noticed there's the reason it's got a 12 rating is for violence and strong language. Strong language. I'm trying to think how they could get strong language into this. I can only imagine that in Super Mario RPG they swear a lot, but I don't know if that's true or not. Earthbound. Maybe Earthbound had strong language. A hippie's an enemy. Maybe that counts now. Either way, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.